Premier League 24 to 25 season is soon upon us. Only 2 days away from recording this. In this video, we're going to be predicting the Premier League league table, top goal scorer, player of the season, most improved team, biggest flop, best signing, worst signing, and a wants to watch player. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my predictions and what are your own predictions for these categories that I'm going to do and see how they compare. And obviously at the end of the season, we're going to look back at this video and see how wrong and how right we were with some of these predictions. So as you can see now, we've got a tier list on the screen. So we're going to be going through each position in the league table and putting the team in the retrospective order that I think it's going to finish in. Now you've got to ignore Leeds United at the bottom. Obviously they're not in the Prem. For some reason they are in this tier list. I don't know why. So starting off in last position, we are going to put Southampton in 20th. Now Southampton went up through the playoffs, and I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anyone that many of the promoted teams go down the following season. I've got 2 of the promoted teams going down this season, and you're going to see that up next. Now we've got Leicester City in 19th place. Now with Leicester, obviously everyone's got fond memories of Leicester in the Premier League. We've got nostalgic players like Vardy, Mahrez, Kante. They've won the Premier League, they've won the FA Cup. But I feel like, once again, they've not made too many great signings, not too much improvement since moving up to the Premier League. And they've lost one of their best players in Dewsbury Hall as well, so it's going to be very hard to replace him. Next up in 18th position, we're going to have Nottingham Forest going down. Now, they've been fighting relegation for the past 2 seasons pretty much. And I feel like this season is going to catch up with them and they're going to get relegated. In 17th spot, I have got Ipswich. Now, I wanted to keep one of the promoted teams in the Premier League. In all honesty, I do believe that Ipswich could end up finishing 20th, but it's hopeful thinking for me that I think they could finish 17th. Looking at Luton last season, no one had them doing as well as he did, and unfortunately they did go down. But I feel like Ipswich are definitely going to put up a big fight this season. In 16th position, we're going to go with Brentford once again. Not too many great signings. They've managed to hold on to Tony, but even when Tony came back in January last season, I don't know if it was because he wasn't up to speed, just wasn't the same player. So I'm very interested to see. Brentford are one of them teams that can end up finishing 16th where I predicted them, or end up finishing 10th or below. I think 10th is their peak of where they could finish, but I just feel like the teams above them are going to do slightly better. In 15th, we have got Brighton. Now, Brighton have been people's wants to watch team for a while. They've been playing really, really well the past couple of seasons, but they've lost to Zerbi. They've lost a couple of players. Stupiman is out for a while. I don't know if they can keep this up, finishing in the top 10, finishing top 12. So I feel like this season it's going to be a lower season for them. I still think they're going to have some good moments. But this season is going to be about finding the foundations again under the new manager. And maybe next season, the 25 to 26 season, they can definitely push back up to the league. In 14th was everyone's surprise package from last season was Bournemouth. Bournemouth really did outperform themselves last season. They finished, was it 10th or 11th they finished? They really did really well under the new manager. Everyone was slating it at the beginning of the season. Why did they get rid of Gary O'Neill? And they proved everyone wrong. They had a really, really good season. So, a 14th position for Bournemouth is not even a bad season. Like, if you asked a Bournemouth fan, 14th, they would take it. Bournemouth just want to be in the Premier League. They don't want to get in a relegation scrap. So, and they've lost Dominic Solanke as well, obviously to Spurs. And we're going to be talking about him later on. In 13th position, we are going to put Everton. I feel like Everton have been fighting relegation as well as many other teams in the league. And I feel like this season they're going to get a bit more stability. Obviously with the points deductions last season did not help them. Without that they would have finished much higher in the league. But I feel like this season it's going to be a lot more stable, a lot more calm in the Everton camp. And they're going to finish 13th. So in 12th position we're going to go with Gary O'Neill's Wolves. I really do like what Wolves are doing last season. I feel like, as a United fan, when I watched them play United, they actually caused a lot of problems. They've got some really good players. Mateus Cunha, just to name one, is absolutely unbelievable. I'm surprised he's not been picked up by anyone. this window. And I feel like they could do... I feel like 12th position for Wolves is it's a decent season, to be fair. In 11th, we are going to go with Fulham. Fulham, very, very steady team in the Premier League the past couple of seasons. They've lost João Palhinha, which is going to be a big loss for them, so maybe it might affect them. I'm not too sure. I'm unfamiliar with Fulham's transfers, replacement for Palhinha, if they've brought one in or not. But I feel like Fulham have got a very solid squad. They've got some great players. They brought in Smith Rowe, which I'm very excited to see, because at Arsenal, before his injuries, he was unbelievable. In 10th position, I've got West Ham United. I have got West Ham United under the new manager Lopetegui. I'm excited to see if they can actually start playing some good football. You got to give credit to Moyes. The past couple of seasons, they've got them in European competition, got them winning European silverware. But I think the fans and the board wanted more attractive football, and that's what they're going to try and get under Lopetegui. They've brought in some great players. They've brought in Fulkrug, they've brought in Somerville, they've brought in Wan-Bissaka. They've brought in some really good players this window, and I feel like they are going to hit the ground running. I feel like they've just brought in too much quality where they can't finish below. I'd say I've put them 10th, but they can't finish below 12th for that sort of squad. Next up in 9th position is going to be Newcastle United. Now, once again, I feel like they are going to struggle this season, Newcastle. They've not really brought in any key players. They've brought in Lewis Hall, who they had on loan last season for 33 million. I feel like that's a bit expensive. I don't really remember him playing that much for Newcastle. They've sold some players. They've sold Minter. They had to sell Elliot Anderson as well. And I feel like they've not strengthened at all. They've got great players, obviously, like Isak and Gordon and Bruno. I don't know when Tonali's back as well, but I feel like Newcastle are going to struggle once again this season. In 8th position, this is going to shock a couple of people. I'm going to put Aston Villa in 8th position. Now, after finishing 4th last season, I feel like it's going to be a very, very disappointing season for Villa fans. I feel like 8th position still, they should not be grumpy about. Even though they finished 4th last season, they're going to finish 8th with Champions League football this season to play. I feel like that's going to be a big factor. I feel like even though they've played European competition before in the Premier League last season, the Champions League is just a different sort of beast. The quality is going to be more. The players are going to get fatigued more. And in the Champions League, you're not going to want to rest your key players. You're going to want to get the strongest team possible every game. In 7th position, I'm actually going to... My surprise package this season is going to be Crystal Palace in 7th. Last season, when Golner came in, he was unbelievable. He got them playing unbelievable football. Mateta was on fire. Eze was on fire. Elise was on fire. Now, obviously, they have lost Elise now to Bayern Munich. But I still feel that under this manager, they can actually do something this season. I feel like that if they can continue their form from last season, I feel like they can actually do something really decent this season, Palace. In 6th position, I have got Liverpool. Now, they've obviously lost one of their key figures in their club's history, in Jurgen Klopp. And bringing in Arne Slot, I don't really know too much about him, but I also know that they've not brought in any signings at all, which they did need to do. They were getting rejected by players like Zubimendi. 51 million they offered for him, and they turned him down. Maybe they don't see the right project there. I'm not too sure. So that's why I've got Liverpool in 6th. I don't think the squad depth is enough to compete with the top half, with the teams above them. In 5th position, I have got Spurs. Spurs finishing 5th. They could easily finish 4th. I was tossing between 5th and 4th for Spurs. But they've brought in a great striker in Dominic Solanke. I don't know how he's going to cope. I feel like he is going to start every game. With some back out on the wing, I feel like they're going to have a different dynamic this season in terms of attacking. I don't know if people are going to find out more about Ange's style of play. I feel like towards the end of last season, people definitely exposing the system a bit more. So it depends if he changes. I haven't really seen too much about Spurs in pre-season. In 4th, I feel like this season it is going to click for Chelsea. bringing in some great signings this window. They've brought in Pedro Neto, honestly, unbelievable signing from Wolves. I like this guy so much. I feel like if he doesn't get injured, he's going to be very key with an attack of Nkunku, who hopefully doesn't get injured for them as well. Palmer and Pedro Neto, I feel like can cause some real problems for teams. And under this new manager, the Leicester manager, I feel like they could click. I feel like this season could be the season where it starts falling into place them a bit more. In third position, we are going to go with Manchester United. My club, I'm obviously going to be a bit more biased towards them. They've brought in some great signings. I'm very excited. De Ligt, Mazzarri, Lenny Yoro, Zertsky. And hopefully we can bring in 1 or 2 midfielders before the end of the summer window. But even with just them signings, I feel like United can, if the players click into the team straight away, I feel like we can get on a good run of form. We just need a bit more consistency for some players from last season. Most namely Marcus Rashford and Casemiro. If they can find half the form they found the season before in the 22-23 season, we're in for a very, very strong year. And I feel like this season is going to be very, very close at the top. I don't think anyone's going to really run away with it this time. I think the league is that competitive now that I don't think anyone's going to fly by away from teams now. So in second place, I am going to go with Manchester City. Now, Manchester City have currently won 4 titles in a row, I'm pretty sure. And that is very impressive, but I feel like this season it's going to be a bit too much for them. I feel like it's so hard to keep up that momentum of winning and winning and winning. Obviously, they're going to want to win the Champions League as well. And I feel like the team in first, who obviously is Arsenal, is going to have all their focus on the Premier League this season. I feel like Champions League is a second matter to them. Premier League's first, and it's going to be the opposite way around for Man City. And I feel like Arsenal are finally, after the third season of competing for the Premier League title against Man City, are going to get the job done. So that's my list. We're going to run through it again. So in 20th, we've got Southampton, 19th, Leicester, 18th, Forest, 17th, Ipswich, 16th, Brentford, 15th, Brighton, 14th, Bournemouth, 13th, Everton, 12th, Wolves, 11th, Fulham, 10th, West Ham, 9th, Newcastle, 8th, Villa, 7th, Palace, 6th, Liverpool, 5th, Spurs, 4th, Chelsea, 3rd, Man United, 2nd, Man City, and 1st is going to be Arsenal. So now I'm gonna jump. Now let me know in the comments your thoughts on my predictions. Let me know if there's any outlandish ones there. I feel like people are going to disagree with Liverpool maybe, and maybe Palace being so high up. But other than that, I feel like I've done quite solid predictions. Now it's time to have a look at the rest of my predictions for the league. So, we're going to have a look at the following categories. We're going to have a look at top goal scorer, player of the season, most improved team from the previous season, biggest flop team, best signing, worst signing, and a ones to watch player. So, starting off with top goal scorer, I'm going to go with the safe banker option. We're going to go with Erling Haaland. 2 seasons in a row, he's been top goal scorer. He got joint. Did he get joint last season? Oh, no. I think he just about won it last season, beating Watkins and Palmer. I feel like Haaland is the banker for top goal scorer in the league. Player of the season, I'm going to go with Cole Palmer. I've put obviously Chelsea in 4th, and if that's going to happen, I feel like Palmer is going to play another vital role. Even going to have a better season than last time. Most improved team is going to be Manchester United, finishing. I don't even know where we finished last season. Was it 8 to finish 3rd? I feel like that's very much an improvement. Biggest flop team is going to be Liverpool, finishing 6th, finishing 3rd last season. Obviously, I feel like they're going to have a poor time. I don't think they're going to be playing well as well. So that's why I've put them as that. I'm going to put the best signing is Dominic Solanke. I feel like Spurs have really needed a striker after losing Harry Kane the season before. I feel like Solanke, after a great season at Bournemouth, can actually do really well for them. Worst signing is going to be Amadou Onana from Everton to Aston Villa. Aston Villa have lost Douglas Luiz. And in my opinion, I feel like Onana is very expensive. I feel like they've paid more for Onana than they sold Luiz for. And I don't think he's a good enough player to replace what Douglas Luiz did. That Aston Villa side, I don't think it's going to work out as well as people may believe. And my wants to watch player this season is going to be Fabio Carvalho at Brentford. He's just moved from Liverpool. I rate this guy so much. I always thought, why did he never get any game time for Liverpool? in the season at Brentford. He's going to show everyone why he should be at a top club. I really do rate this guy. So that is my Premier League predictions. I really want to know your guys' in the comments below, so let me know. If you have enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.